On November 30th, 1936, a crowd of hundreds of thousands, including the Queen Dowager and the Duke of Kent, turned out to watch what the Croydon, England Norwood News described as the greatest tragedy which has ever befallen Upper Norwood, an area of South London. Life magazine wrote the Crystal Palace was the biggest thing in London, 1,600 feet of glass and iron, a monument to the taste of Queen Victoria. A massive structure of cast iron and plate glass, the Crystal Palace had originally been built to house the London Great Exhibition in 1851. At the time, the 990,000 square foot exhibition hall, covered by 293,000 panes of glass, was 3 times the size of London's St. Paul's Cathedral. As the exhibition drew to a close, the structure was dismantled and moved to an area of South London near Sydenham Hill, where it was redesigned by its original architect, Sir Joseph Paxton, to be what the Daily Telegraph described as a vastly more elaborate structure than the original one in Hyde Park. There, the palace that was the playground of Londoners, rich and poor, stood for 82 years. In it, Life explains, were held concerts, spectacles, movies, and flower shows. It had classical courts and galleries, an aviary, and an aquarium. So popular was the permanent exhibition that 2 railway stations were built to serve the building. The concert room had more than 4,000 seats and housed a 4,500-pipe great organ. It housed the world's first aeronautical exhibition in 1868 and the world's first cat show in 1871. In 1875, it hosted what has been described as the world's first bandy match, a predecessor to ice hockey. And when several hundred girls attended the Crystal Palace Scout Rally in 1909, it resulted in the founding of the Girl Guides and the Girl Scouts. During the Great War, it served as a training base for the Royal Navy, dubbed HMS Victory VI. 125,000 bluejackets were trained there, as well as a training base for the newly established Royal Air Force. In 1920, it became the first location of the Imperial War Museum. The first fire alarm was raised at 8 p.m. Altogether, 89 fire engines and more than 500 firemen were called to fight the blaze, an effort that was hampered, as the Telegraph reported. So many thousands of people had congregated that in many cases it was absolutely impossible for fire engines to get within half-mile of the fire. The Telegraph wrote, the flames spread with amazing speed through the great halls. Sparks were spread as far as Beckingham, 2 miles away. Life wrote, the fire spread its glow over 8 counties of England. The aquarium fish were boiled, but someone opened the doors to the aviary. By morning, the building was in ruins, although thankfully no one was killed in the blaze. The remaining parts, the 2 great water towers, were subsequently removed, and the great palace was no more. One of those in the crowd that night was a member of Parliament, Winston Churchill, who was that day celebrating his 62nd birthday. He remarked, "This is the end of an age."